Tonight, a decision coming down from Hartford city leaders on a ceasefire resolution after dozens of people lined up for public comment to discuss the ongoing war in the Middle East. Meanwhile, clues on the international front that a ceasefire could be imminent. Last week, we told you how Ukrainian ribbons at UConn have been getting defaced. Well, tonight, we're learning the problem has gotten much worse and more frequent. That update is coming up.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
We'll get to those top stories in just a moment, but first, some major new developments out of Washington. The president says a ceasefire deal in Gaza could be days away. Good evening, I'm Sarah Sanchez. The president addressed the press on the campaign trail today. His administration says they're optimistic that a deal will be ironed out soon.
Well, I hope by the beginning of the weekend. The end of the weekend. At least my national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
The deal would pause hostilities in Gaza and allow for the surviving hostages taken by Hamas on October 7th be released. The president says we can expect updates throughout the week. Here in Connecticut, a resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza has failed. Hartford City Council heard more than 2 hours of public comment before voting, and hundreds gathered outside City Hall to make their voices heard on the matter. Fox 61's Jake Garcia was there tonight. He joins us now from City Hall with the very latest. Good evening, Jake.
Good evening, Sarah. That proposal of that resolution failed after many councilors chose to abstain from voting. Now, prior to tonight's meeting, there were many on both for and against a ceasefire resolution that made their voices heard. The city of Hartford following in the footsteps of other municipalities in the state, taking up a resolution that would support a ceasefire in Gaza. City Councilor Josh Mitchum told Fox 61 why he wrote the resolution.
I didn't know that it really needed to be a city council issue, but then a bunch of constituents reached out to me and said we should, and I met with a whole bunch of constituents, and we came up with a resolution and we put it forward.
Leaders from the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford showed up to oppose the resolution, saying the city of Hartford should be focused on local issues.
This kind of resolution doesn't belong in city halls. Municipal officials have no power over foreign policy. They need to deal with crime and budgets and drugs and all the urgent problems that we need to come together around, and not divisive issues, not issues like this that are tearing people apart.
But pro-Palestine supporters say this international issue starts here locally.
We're here to say, not in our name. We do not want our tax dollars funding a genocide. We want our tax dollars funding good schools, funding public safety, funding better roads here in Hartford.
For nearly 2 hours, city councilors heard testimony both in favor.
Prove me right, please. Show me that raising my daughter here in Hartford, remaining in the city after 4 generations, was the right choice. Vote yes on this resolution because in Hartford we believe in life, preserving life and peace.
And against a ceasefire.
I mourn the loss of innocent life in Israel and in Gaza. This resolution, though, will do nothing for Gaza and nothing for Israel. Its only impact will be to further divide us.
After public comment, pro-Palestine supporters began chanting in City Hall before being escorted out by police. When it came time to vote,
Mr. Town Clerk, please call the roll, please.
2 councilors voted for, 1 against, and 6 councilors chose to
abstain.
Hartford City Council president says it's best to focus on the people of Hartford.
But one thing we realize is that this is a legislative body, and we were elected to make sure that we focus our energy on the residents' immediate need in the city.
Now, it's important to note that only Bridgeport and Windsor have voted on similar resolutions that have actually passed. Reporting live from Hartford City Hall, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Jake. After a month-long investigation, West Hartford police have arrested a man. He's accused of vandalizing a bank during a pro-Palestine rally. 24-year-old Hikam Talal is alleged to be one of the 150 protesters who moved throughout West Hartford Center last month. At some point during the rally, police say Talal sprayed the Webster Bank on LaSalle Road with red paint. He surrendered to police today. He's now facing 2 charges: intimidation based on bigotry and criminal mischief. He was released on bond and will appear in court next month. Talking about the ongoing investigation, West Hartford police have released a statement reading in part, "This incident reflects the independent actions of individuals, not the larger group of protesters." Leaders of local advocacy groups are also reacting to the news tonight.
Absolutely. Everybody has a right to protest, but not to protest in a violent way. It has to be done legally. It has to respect the rights of others. And what we've seen here and around the country, unfortunately, by anti-Israel agitators are protests that have often devolved into violence and extremist rhetoric, anti-Semitic rhetoric. And this sends a very clear message that that's not going to be tolerated.
Police are still looking for at least one more suspect. The woman is also wanted in the red paint incident. You see the photo there. She's pictured on your screen. If you recognize her, give West Hartford police a call. A 58-year-old former baseball coach has been arrested for allegedly sexually assaulting 2 of his former players from 2010. Frank Malillo of Bethany was taken into custody by Wallingford police. They say last April they received a sexual assault complaint and have since uncovered evidence of years of abuse against juvenile boys. Malillo is facing 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault and 3 counts of risk of injury to a minor. He was released on 2 $50,000 bonds and is set to appear in court next month. Well, a relatively pleasant start to the week with some sun peeking out this afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is joining us with more on how we'll be rounding out the month in the weather department. Rachel, can you believe February is almost over?
I cannot believe it, and it is not going to feel like February as we head through the coming days. Today's highs temperatures were in the 40s and 50s, and we're going to do that again heading through tomorrow and Wednesday as well. However, if you have a chance to get outside tomorrow, I would do it, because even though Wednesday will be just as warm, it will also be wet. So tomorrow's your day to really enjoy it. Temperatures right now are in the 30s across the state. It's actually cooler along the shoreline than it is for inland areas. It's 39 in Hartford, 35 right now for Danbury. And as we head through the overnight hours, we're going to stay in the 30s as we head towards daybreak. Watch for areas of patchy fog and some low visibility in parts of the state. And it might start off kind of cloudy tomorrow, but I think we break for some midday sunshine, and that will allow temperatures to take off, soaring through the 50s, feeling like spring before we start to see some rain developing as we head into tomorrow night. And that rain will come down off and on right through your Wednesday, followed by a very strong front Wednesday night that will cause the winds to whip and temperatures to tumble. We'll show you the numbers coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. New developments out of stores tonight. Last week, we told you about vandalism targeting Ukrainian ribbons on the UConn campus. Well, tonight, the Ukrainian Student Association says the vandalism incidents are just getting worse. They posted these pictures on Instagram showing more ribbons defaced, along with posters supporting the Russian invasion. There are also red ribbons the group says support Russian territory. UConn police say they're still investigating this entire situation as a bias incident. It's a historic day in Stamford Superior Court. Judge Kevin Randolph says it's the first time in our state a special part of court proceedings was live streamed for the public to view. Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc has a breakdown in the Michelle Tronis trial.
The court has given to each side its proposed jury instructions.
This is something called a charge conference, a legal back and forth when the state, the prosecution, and the judge decide how to instruct the jury before deliberations. But this conference for the trial of Michelle Tronis was unlike any other.
There has never been a charge conference in the state of Connecticut that has been live streamed.
This process normally happens behind closed doors, but recently the state made it public. It's the first time viewers like you could see it happening live.
You know, you got to see for the first time how the I'll say, how the sausage is made, right?
With Tronis in the room, both sides went over each charge she's facing in connection to the presumed murder of Jennifer Farber-Dulos. Police believe Tronis plotted with her then-boyfriend, Fotis Dulos, to kill his wife and then helped him get rid of the evidence on May 24, 2019. The motive, the state argues, has to do with the complicated divorce between Fotis and Jennifer and its impact on the relationship between Fotis and Michelle.
You know, she doesn't like that there is her relationship is being negatively impacted and the quality of her life. Nowhere is there evidence of that.
The defense says the evidence shows the opposite, with things starting to go in Fotis's favor that month when it came to the custody case, but not according to the state.
That I've prosecuted cases where people have murdered for far less than the motive that we've presented in this case.
Another point of contention, who was involved in the crimes? The defense making it clear Fotis had help, but maybe not the help the state thinks he had.
In my view, at least the evidence shows there's at least one other, maybe more people involved, but it wasn't Michelle Tronis.
Prosecutors disagree.
There's no direct evidence that anyone else participated in these crimes. It's all conjecture and speculation on the part of the defense.
Now, the hearing lasted just over 2 hours, and the judge will make the final call tonight on what he wants to include in those jury instructions. He will give those instructions to the jury tomorrow after closing arguments. We are in Stamford. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Tonight, a 49-year-old man is fighting for his life in the hospital. He was hit by a car in Bloomfield. Police tell us the crash happened just before 6:30 tonight at the intersection of Cottage Grove and Tyler Street. The man was breathing when police arrived, but he was unresponsive. The driver of the car was going through a green light, and we're told they are cooperating with police. We have much more news coming up here at 10. It's shaping up to be a busy week on Capitol Hill between a deadline to pass a budget and testimony from the president's son. We're breaking it all down ahead.
More and more people were getting them, but the spaces didn't increase, and a lot of people were like violating them.
And ahead at 10:30, parking accessibility is a major problem in our state. We're digging deeper into solutions and meeting a mother and daughter team inspiring change.